Hello everybody and welcome to the Sweeney Show, Business and Law podcast. Joining me here today is Gemma Sugrue. Gemma is a singer, songwriter, performer, artist, entrepreneur, coach, full ambit of musical talents. Gemma, you're very, very welcome.
Thanks
here
for having
today.
me.
So I suppose you've kind of, if we could bring it up to today, kind of exploded on social media, and your audiences and your profile is hugely increased maybe in the last year and a half through your partnership with Jenny Greene and the RTÉ Concert Orchestra.
Mm-hmm.
Like those concerts you put on in the marquee were just amazing events. How did that start for you? How did you get into that?
Before the first gig was the Electric Picnic. We did a show there in 2016, and they just came up with the concept maybe a couple of weeks before Electric Picnic that year, and I got a phone call to say what I like to sing as part of it. The coordinator of the orchestra knows me, Mary Sexton. Nobody else in the project knew me though, and they were like, this isn't just a friend who can hold a tune, I mean she can carry this, right? And Mary's like, no, it's going to be okay. So it was really kind of a whirlwind. Went in, I got the set list maybe a week beforehand, and I didn't really get to hear what it felt like or feel it.
Were you a fan of that music?
Yeah, definitely. I especially like the soul-driven type vocals, like "Show Me Love," Robin S, and they would be maybe even more my style. But yeah, no, I loved it, and we had no expectations on the
was
night.
that like a small 20-minute slot Electric Picnic back then, or
it might have even been like a 40-minute show.
Yeah.
We had no expectations. It wasn't as part of the billing or in the Electric Picnic app. So, but I think people heard us at soundcheck and were like, "There's the full orchestra playing dance tunes in that tent."
And was the billing there like the afternoon, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock?
No, we were on at about 9, half 9.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. But that tent is usually not open on the Fridays, so that was kind of changing.
Yeah, and then that audience, I suppose, Electric Picnic audience kind of got that. Is that 30-year-old above kind of vibe, isn't it?
Typically, yeah. But again, with every single concert I've ever done with Jenny Greene and the RTÉ Concert Orchestra, it's the most diverse audience you could ever look out upon.
It's mad, isn't it?
Yeah, it's cool.
And is that like, so you're reaching all, it seems to be like that age bracket that would listen to music originally back in the 90s, and then there's this new following of these kind of younger people are coming along.
What's so lovely is you see like kind of generations out for the night. So you might have a mum, and these are the tunes I was going to
and the
listen
teenage daughter or son or whatever.
And then they're bringing along the teenagers.
Wow. And you love it?
Yeah,
it's,
oh my God, it's a great buzz. It's so exciting, and people you've just won before you've even gone up there because people are so excited.
I look at it even from the point of view of the musicians in the concert orchestra, because they would have been classically trained, and maybe a somber traditional approach to music and concerts. Like I presume they're blown away by all this and they really enjoy it.
Oh my God, it's a very different performance experience for them.
From the concert hall or something.
Yeah, and I've watched them over the last 2 years loosen up more and more, and like they have certain parts of the songs where they get up and they'll pump their trumpets in the air like that. And it's brilliant. And then the strings will all have a plan that they're all going to stand up at a certain point but not tell anyone, and it's been great crack.
That's great. Like that's obviously like that's something that's like everybody is enjoying doing because they're passionate about it. They love what they're doing, so they spent like most of their like working life training and to become that. Like that. But that's something you've kind of carried across since your school and college days, haven't you? Like you're really passionate about music. Yeah,
I think just anything to do with creativity and music I'm interested in, and like that I don't put all my eggs in one basket. I like to explore all the different avenues that I can go down, and I find business is creative, I find coaching is super creative, performing is creative, writing music is creative, social media is creative, anything that just makes me feel like I'm making something and exploring my imagination, I'm there, I'm into it.
And then from your business side of things, because you're quite entrepreneurial in spirit, in that you set up a business called Voiceworks around 2010-11, is it?
That's
right.
And
how did that come about?
My friend Leisha Leahy and I ran a summer camp together in July 2011, and we just had so much fun.
And is the summer camp, was that for young kids who want to sing or improve their singing? Or?
Yeah, so it was teenagers, and it had a focus on contemporary music, as in pop music. And then when they were finishing up at the summer camp, they were like, oh, what are we going to do in September? And Leisha was running lessons from her house, I was running lessons from my house, and we felt like, wouldn't it be really cool if we could pool the resources?
When you say running lessons, at the time, were they kind of like extra work you were doing to kind of fund your study or everything that you wanted to do?
I was in college, I was taking private students at home in my apartment, and it was kind of informal and getting me going.
And so maybe there was an opportunity here to grow this, and the demand is there.
And we just really connected as two people, and we were excited about, making something happen together and pooling the resources. And we wanted somewhere for those students to go. We really cared about them, and we felt like maybe there wasn't something for them. And we wanted to create a community for them where they could just sing Adele songs and Amy Winehouse songs and do some songwriting.
And give them an environment that they can do that in.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. And then did you start off with small numbers? Because I think now it's grown to kind of like you're not only just in Cork here, but you have different locations now.
Yeah, we're in Bandon and Killarney now. It's grown organically, I would say, over the last 5 or 6 years. But we just brought in who used to come to our apartments. Yeah. And we invested in a beautiful building on the North Mall, which had a 100-seater theatre and had all these beautiful big rooms. It was a listed building. It used to be the Lord Mayor's house. It was all very opulent and fabulous. And we got a business loan in the middle of the recession. We couldn't believe we got that business loan. Actually, it turned out that Leisha had sung in after hours. And the bank manager was at the after hours, and he convinced her to sing. And then she was like, "Oh, I'll be calling on a favour from you one of these days." And we were like, "Hi, we have a business loan."
Remember me?
We have no business experience, but they took a chance on us.
But that's quite ambitious, isn't it, to start out at that scale?
Yeah, we were just it was like we were full of so much optimism and enthusiasm. It was like a drug, and we just had so much energy together that we didn't even feel the pain of some of the harder times or the long hours, because we were just enjoying it so much.
Just immersing it so much. And have you moved off that building now, or are you still there?
Yeah, so we moved from the North Mall over to the South Terrace, and we've been over there now for nearly 5 years. Okay, and how do you spread your time then yourself personally, like across, say, Bandon, Killarney and here? Is that something you're actually hands-on in there, or are you delegating now? I've delegated a good bit, and like that, I really felt like I started off so consumed and immersed in the business. I was teaching everybody, and I was running the office and everything. And soon you just start and you zoom out more and more every year. And I just needed to, I hadn't enough perspective on what was going on. And so I've zoomed out as much as I can now, where I have a manager in Cork, I have a manager in Bandon and a manager in Killarney, and we, like, say, every Wednesday morning we'll do a Zoom conference call, so that we're all on a video conference call every week, and then we just go through everything that needs to be done. We've shared spreadsheets, we're all communicating on the shared spreadsheets. Obviously, I'm on hand for bigger events, but...
Sure. And how do you then, because I know, I don't mean to be stereotypical to say this, but if you're a creative person and, into the creative arts and exploring that creative side of yourself, do you balance that with the finances and accounting and all that? Like, is that something you're hands-on as well, or did you have to learn that, or do you delegate that as well?
I delegate that as well.
Okay. There must be a lot of trust then to do that, isn't there?
Yeah. So we were really lucky with the accountant we got set up with, and we got set up with the solicitor in 2011. That I actually just came from a meeting with the solicitor, and I've just really trusted them. They've always had our back, and I have always, turned to them for that kind of advice, and listened to their ideas and opinions.
I always say that to someone starting out: surround yourself with the best people. Whether it's a solicitor, accountant, just get yourself established, get a foundation of that. Yeah. And it might cost you a bit of money. It might cost you a bit of time at the start, but now 5-6 years down the line, or 7 years in your case, that's when you get the reward of it.
Oh my God, I have an amazing relationship with both of those women, and they have my back, and it was a big investment at the beginning when we had nothing, but we made a very conscious decision that we're like, these are our 2 weak points, and we really need to put the money into these areas.
Yeah, and so that becomes a partnership then, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Then you can pick up the phone and rely on them.
Absolutely.
Or whatever happens.
Yeah.
So if I was what's the typical age bracket of someone who uses Voiceworks now, your students?
There's a broad enough spectrum. You have from age 5 up to adult, but I would say maybe around the 11, 12, 13 we might have more of those. teenagers we have a lot of, but do you know what, the adult community in there has grown a good bit. I've been delighted with that. We started an indie choir, and there's loads of adults signed up for that. And then
are the adults people who kind of would have sung in their youth and then it stopped for whatever reason, family life, work life took over, and they kind of come back to it?
Yeah.
And are they people who just want to sing as a hobby, or do you think they want to progress to maybe have one chance at making it somewhere?
Some of them just, their confidence grows so much that they start going looking for gigs, and they start doing this for real.
Yeah.
And then others just want it as an outlet, and so many people feel like they don't have permission to go for one-to-one lessons. You know, oh, I'm not like a big, massive, you know, professional singer. I'm not entitled to do that. But I'm like, if you like playing golf, wouldn't you go to the golf pro and up your game a little bit when you go back out in the course? You enjoy it more. Yeah. So why not learn some technique to help you enjoy something more?
And what do you think make of the X Factor type shows?
I
don't open a Pandora's box here now, but
not at all. Do you know what, I not the biggest fan of them. I wouldn't really watch them, and I've had experience with those shows before, and often they'll come to the colleges and to the schools and ask for one of their producers to sit in and audition, but I just feel like
to take some talent out of your school in case there's somebody there.
No, I don't think the students realise what they're getting into. It's so appealing, and it's these bright shiny lights, and no matter how many times I explain to the students, you are an extra in a TV show, this is not really about singing, you know, they still kind of are like, oh, I want to be the next superstar. And I think that it has started a culture of people being in love with singing rather than being in love with music. You know, it's like, I want to win singing, instead of like, I love music and I need to express myself and I need to do that through my singing. And I think it's changed the culture of singing, and it's also made people very judgmental of singers, and I think it's prevented people from getting out there, because every weekend the whole country sits down and judges singers that they don't know, and they've all become these singing critics.
Experts, through Simon Cowell and all these kind of things. And do you believe that everybody can sing?
Yes.
Or do you think it can it be taught, or is it natural?
I think that definitely some people have more of a natural ability, but I think it can definitely be taught. Some people, they just need more ear training, some people need to work on the instrument itself, but I think it's something that if you want to do it, if you have an inclination to do it, it's very likely that you have an ability. And then
just because I know you really immerse yourself in the technical aspect of voice coaching and vocalogy and that kind of thing. How do you apply that to like a student coming in? Like, do you actually is there a physical aspect to it, or is it like a theory or a theoretical aspect you apply to it as well?
Yeah, like I suppose the instrument is part of our biology, so that sets us apart. We're outliers from all other instrumentalists, and we can't see our instrument, it's inside. So that made me really interested in maybe understanding the science of it, how it all works. And that's for me to know and not to burden the student with, so that when I'm listening, I have a lot of knowledge and information behind what I'm hearing.
And you can pick up that little thing.
I can ask them to, I know that the reason why it sounds like that is because the tongue is in the wrong place, or it's not connected to the breath. Or
I was going to say that, and is all breathing a big factor and all that?
Yeah,
and your diaphragm
definitely. But again, you have to tread carefully with those things, because breathing is something we do involuntarily, maybe up to 30,000 times a day. It's something a system that works really beautifully already, and sometimes you can kind of interfere with those things too much. So it's just about being very careful about what information they need, and you know, not overburdening them, but helping them move along. But it's all the knowledge is in the background with you.
Okay, and then you're still facilitating the singer, isn't it?
Yeah. And there's so much more to, like, you know, obviously bringing on their technique, but bringing on their confidence, you know, psychologically allowing them to be free. And I think, you know, from societal constraints that we're like, oh, I better not make a loud noise, and oh, I'm nervous of expressing myself, or so it's actually trying to encourage that freedom in people. And often when they're emotionally connected and they feel free, all the things come out the most beautiful way.
And do you help then in public performance and getting people to kind of sing in public?
Yeah, definitely. And we try to create as many performance opportunities in the school as possible, and as many varied.
Oh, in-house, okay,
Well, no, we would go to the shopping centre in Mahon Point, actually. We do about 3 gigs there, and we get students used to singing and people are just walking past you shopping, because that's one performance experience and that you will encounter in a professional career. And then singing when you have a captive audience and you're in a little theatre, singing with the band, singing with the guitar player, singing with the backing track. And so performance, you have to practice performing, and you'll never figure out how to do it unless you actually
imitate
do it.
What's going to happen,
Yeah, and kind of deal with all of the different environments and how to kind of focus in on, you know, the message of the song and what you're doing, and not get pulled by what's going on externally.
And then how do you explain, or how do you help someone that's dealing with nerves?
Yeah, you have to
do you get nervous yourself?
Yeah, definitely. And I would get, in fact, my nerves are really important to me, and sometimes I actually try to conjure them up if I need to. You know, if I'm a little bit chill, then I'm like, okay, what's going on? What's happening? How are you feeling? And I try to get myself a bit excited. So, I mean, that's one approach, is to compare that the feeling in your body for excitement and nervousness is the same, and that you just convert your nervous energy into excitement. You can ask yourself...
Could you call the nervous energy anxiety? Like a fear of what's going to happen in the future, and you kind of steady yourself back into the present?
Yeah, and getting present and slowing down your breath, realising the physiological effects of that kind of mind frame, because the heart rate's going to increase. So one tip is that you practice with a higher heart rate, so that you get your heart rate up a little bit with some like jogging on the spot.
Sure.
And then you sing with that kind of up energy, so that when that up energy comes, it feels really comfortable and natural, and like, oh, this is how I like to sing, you know. Or I often would do this myself, is ask if I do get overwhelmed or nervous. It's usually because I feel unprepared, or like an imposter, or I'm not good enough for this.
That imposter syndrome, yeah.
And so I ask myself the question, why am I ready? And then
evidence states that you've done this before, you're able to do this again.
I'm not joking or cheating myself into going, just be positive, you can do it. I'm not going to believe that, but I am going to believe, you've done this now for how many years? You've had these experiences, this has gone well, these are all the reasons.
And then how do you say that to someone it's their first time?
Yeah,
doing it.
I know. I suppose there are still
they just have
answers.
To step into the unknown?
They do have to step into the unknown. There are still answers to that question for them, that like, look, we've been working on this song, you know it off by heart, remember that time you nailed it in the lesson. There's all that information there available to them. But also letting them know that, you know, what's the worst that can actually happen, you know. Let's imagine the worst case scenario, and let's get good with the worst case scenario, because the worst case scenario, nobody actually dies. It's all going to be fine, and the next day comes around again. You know, it isn't the end of the world. And the best thing that could happen you actually is having an awful experience on stage and going, oh, okay, I'm okay. Everyone else is okay.
We made it through.
Life goes on, great.
Yeah.
And then you just do it again.
Yeah. Wow, but I think like if for any singer starting out like that, like it's who you surround yourself as well, isn't it? Like I think just going to your school, I think must be amazing for your students, because you can just feel how much you care. You know, that's kind of the centre to all of this, isn't it? That you actually care about the students. Yeah,
definitely, and it's such an emotional thing. You know, music and then singing, I think, is one of the most emotional parts of performing music.
Is the younger kids, I'll phrase this correctly, that start out, so maybe it's a hobby, but are their parents trying to push them into a situation where they didn't have a career, nearly had a career, or are they just this next curricular activity, maybe soccer, rugby, tennis, let's try a bit of singing? Is there a balance there, or are there kind of parents that push their kids into careers or into classes that they don't actually enjoy? Yeah,
I think there's a variety of all of those types of parents, and often you have a parent maybe who regrets that they never explored music in their earlier life.
They should take up your adult class, shouldn't they?
Yes,
do you know, the parents
I know,
should,
absolutely, and some do.
Yeah.
But I suppose they just want to make sure that, I think a lot of parents want kids to explore all the options nowadays, and they just go, you know, just try it out, see if you like it. And any parents really we've experienced or encountered are really open, and you know, sometimes they'll ring us and go, look, it's not for him or not for her, it's not her thing, she's more leaning towards the soccer or whatever else it is. But it's wonderful that they're giving them that opportunity to go out and try it.
So outside your Voiceworks and that business, you're a standalone performer yourself. You sing with bands. Did you just launch another band recently?
Yeah, so I moved to Dublin last year, and I started singing with a jazz quartet, and we recorded an album last summer, and then I brought that out in November. And that
What's the name of the album?
It's In My Nature.
Oh, great, yeah, Mark will put it up there.
Oh, thank you. In My Nature with the Julian Colarossi Quartet, and they were just these incredible musicians that I knew Julian, and then he introduced me to the guys that he played with, but they were just such a gorgeous group of musicians, and they had such an amazing dynamic, and they were so welcoming to me, and we just clicked, and I felt like, oh, we should make something. And
is that a genre you've always loved, admired? Because you seem to have kind of like a wide, you're not limiting yourself to one type of music.
Free spirit in every kind of way.
Yeah.
So I'll hop around and just explore anything I can. But yeah, I started singing jazz in the Corn Store, actually. There was like a jazz trio gig I used to do on a Friday evening, and that was such a brilliant gig because people are listening to you, but they're kind of not listening to you as well.
Yeah.
So you were able to explore songs maybe that weren't these big crowd pleaser songs, and so I was actually just kind of learning my trade a little bit in the corner there, and developing my jazz chops.
And is there gigs coming up now in live shows, or where are you going to develop that?
At the moment we're kind of, we haven't got a plan in place. We're hoping to maybe look at some jazz festivals, maybe put on a few more gigs ourselves, and maybe explore other scenes outside of Ireland. Like, jazz wouldn't be a huge genre in Ireland, so we'd be kind of limited.
The October weekend here in Cork.
Which we loved and enjoyed, and we're.
And do you perform over that weekend?
I've done that now for years, and I absolutely adore it. And we had a brilliant year last year. Sinead Dunphy took over the festival, and she did an amazing job.
Yeah, it's a huge success story for Cork, isn't it? And for music, because people from all over the world come for the jazz festival. Yeah. And then you've kind of, because how we come about you, obviously through the concert, but on social media, like your social media presence is fantastic. Okay. But you're saying there like you're a free spirit, but you've seemed to just put yourself out there on Instagram and your stories. Like, what you see is what you get. Yeah. And it's like, it's very endearing. Like it's because it goes beyond the superficial. Yeah. You know, you're very happy to share your personal life, your work life, and then when things aren't going great. Yeah. Like you were quite sick there recently with a cold. You know, you shared all that. but you know, but like that's real life. Like that, people can like associate with that. Yeah. But do you think then that like is the social media, like, do you enjoy that part of it? Is that something you enjoy doing as well?
I love it. It's like an outlet again for expressing myself, and I only ever put the camera on in front of me when I'm compelled to do so. So I either feel really excited about something that I can't wait to tell somebody about, or I've come up with something funny and I want to share it, or you know, I'm a bit fed up and I just need to kind of vent, and I'm one of these people that needs to externalize how I feel all the time. So if there isn't somebody around, or I can't get through to somebody on the phone, I'm like
going on the Instagram stories here. And like, so you have your own Instagram page, Gemma Sugrue, and there's a Voiceworks page, and I think there's one for Bandon and Killarney as well, and they're kind of split up geographically. And you have Facebook as well. Yeah. But like, do you manage that yourself, or do you? So
I have people to manage the Voiceworks pages, and so I would just run my own social media. My Instagram story, I would say, is my real happy place, and it's where I kind of exist and is the real me. And I feel it's such a different relationship you have with people that watch that. You know, that you've kind of invited them in with your circle, and like, come on in, and then they'll come in and watch. Whereas the wall is the outside. You know.
Yeah, that's like maybe like the mantelpiece in the front room.
Yeah, that's the good room.
Instagram. Come on into the kitchen there for a cup of tea and see what's really happening. And were you on Snapchat before that?
Yeah.
Or did you? Okay, so you brought that, and then are you on Snapchat still, or?
The odd time I'll go onto it, but very, very rarely.
You feel Instagram is there.
Yeah. But the Instagram still, it's so interesting how the climate is still a little bit different on Insta stories in comparison. Snapchat was really free for all, I felt. Snapchat was super authentic. I feel like I've kind of closed up a little bit more since I'm on Instagram stories.
Okay.
And I was only thinking about it last night, actually. I was like, I wonder, should I go back to being the way I used to be on Snapchat? Because it was, I mean, 24/7. I was really on that.
I was never on Snapchat, so like I was kind of brought kicked and screaming into Instagram
Oh,
about a
yeah.
year ago, but I love it.
Oh,
Our
cool.
business page, I just love it. I love the interaction you can get.
Yeah.
But also, like, it's a really good marketing tool for your business.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Behind all that, yes, you can share your personal stuff.
Yeah.
And do you find that? Do you get inquiries direct to social media?
But you get, like, the thing is, they get to know you, get to know your own personal brand, they get to know your business, and you're getting the right client. Because often some clients don't stick. It's just my business isn't for them, and then but I feel the ones that get to know me through social media, they could be clients for life, because they just really get me, and we've developed a trust before we've even met each other.
Yeah, I think that's like for any business, you can see a name and a brand.
Yeah.
You can see a face as well in real life, isn't it? Be able to associate with that.
Yeah.
Well, listen, Gemma, thank you so much for
Hello,
coming in today.
thanks for having me.
We've had a great conversation. Oh, sorry, if you were, say,
Yeah.
a young artist, performer starting out right now, what advice would you give them?
I think be bold and brave about who you are and what you're doing and what you want to achieve. Reframe what you think is pushiness as like enthusiasm and optimism and excitement. Don't be afraid to just blab about all the things that you're passionate about, because you never know, the person that you're talking to might go, I have an idea and it lines up, or you need to talk to this person, they'd love to hear from you, or you need to communicate and express what you're feeling and what you're thinking. Don't be afraid to put your ideas out there. I think before, people used to, protect their ideas, and I think the climate of the internet now and social media, there's a real openness to what everybody's doing. I think it's so worth it to put it out there, and work really hard, work really smart, know what your priorities are. And know that you're definitely going to fail if you're doing something creative. That is absolutely part of the process. And so once you get good with that, you just keep going forward and you learn from all your failures, and have fun. Whatever you're doing, enjoy it. It should be fun. It's supposed to be fun.
And what's the future for Gemma Sugrue?
I don't know. That's the best thing. I just love the mystery. I love the wondering. I don't really like too much kind of everything sorted out and planned out for me, and maybe I should plan a little bit more, but I'd like to explore songwriting a little bit more. I'd like to explore my performance career a little bit more, continue growing the business, but listening to what the business wants, and seeing
and reacting to it,
and reacting to that, rather than going, I'm driving it this way, this is how we're going to achieve something. I'm just listening and seeing, and I'm not putting any pressure on it.
Yeah, well, I think whatever you decide to do, you're going to be a huge success.
Oh,
thank you so much for giving us your time today, and we really, really wish you all the best in the future.
Thank you so much,
Gemma.
Dave. Thank you.
Cheers.